got the intro music.
Oh, boy.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
No.
No. Yeah.
Well, okay. Anyways, folks, welcome back to the next episode or another episode of Farmer Talk. We've made it to like week 13 or 14. Starting to feel like an every week thing, isn't it?
How many?
In no way.
Every week this year, we're in the fourth month.
Boy, time flies when you're having fun, isn't it?
Okay.
Yep.
We've officially reached the point of the year where I smell like a box of matches every night when I come home.
Yeah. Yep. So it is strip till season. BJ did a little stripping over the weekend. Yep.
Tip jar's empty.
Yeah, it didn't look like he had a very good crowd.
No.
Yep. So
Two Siberian Huskies.
two Siberian Huskies, neighbor's
How many
dogs.
strips did you get?
How many strips did I get? 150 acres worth.
Pretty good.
Yep.
Taking 3 hours out to go to a baseball game.
Yeah. So some of our friends from Underforth called last night and asked how it was going, and said, "Well, I think he did about 150 acres, and he had time to take in a baseball game, so it must have went pretty smooth."
Had a couple hiccups, but solved and moved on.
Yeah. So we've been running an Underforth Raptor now for 5 years, so I feel like you're fairly.
Yeah, at this point,
Capable.
I think I'm pretty competent as far as taking care of anything that messes up. But there was I don't know if a sensor's bad or what, but something keeps going off, and eventually I just had to reset things. And
Yeah.
off
Did
the races.
tractor work okay?
Why wouldn't it?
Well, it's a John Deere for one thing.
It's fine.
Okay.
Your feet got hot?
Huh? Feet got hot, yeah.
No overheating though. Remotes worked okay.
Yeah.
Just your feet. Your feet got hot.
I noticed you're talking kind of a little weird, so you must be partially deaf from sitting in that thing.
Well, I haven't had my allergy pills all weekend because I was out, and yeah, I'm a little stopped up.
That's why you were late this morning. Okay.
Yeah, I had to go get to the store.
Gotcha. Yeah, okay. Well, Dad, you doing bulldozing over the weekend?
Yeah.
Yep. How's the D8 running?
Daisy May run fine. Run fine.
Yep. So Dad's been tackling a little bulldozing project at the home farm, and basically just straightening up a couple tree lines there.
What are we adding? About 40 acres there?
Well, we're getting about acre and a half. I don't know if we'll get it this year. It's that dirt, probably have to put some rye or something on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of looked like
trees I
some
got-
of that dirt had some stone in it.
Oh, it's all rock now. It's that hill had rock in it. It's kind of funny. It's old blue gumbo like, and it's I don't know how long it takes to form, but some of it's almost rock now. But when you hit it, it kind of crumble. But I don't know if it'd take another 100 years it'd be rock or what, turn into rock.
Probably another 1,000.
Yeah,
but
probably more than 100.
I think in geology terms, things.
100
don't-
years is like a minute, I think, for rocks.
So I've took out some big trees. I got one oak tree about the size of this table. It's probably 4 or 5 foot across yet.
I think we ought to have our logger friend come over and take a look at that. I think it's a white oak, and I don't know, maybe have it turned into some boards.
I'm
or
about
something.
ready to push it over.
Okay.
You better get him on the horn now.
Yeah, of course it's
Yeah.
wet now. You said the creek was out almost.
Hey, it's pretty high.
So it
We got about an inch of rain
Probably
last night.
covered up. I had to run a drainage tile from the.
What'll probably happen is all those trees you've been whacking and stacking are probably going to float into the creek, and we'll get to pluck them out of it.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't.
Speaking of
So-
dozing, I've been doing some dozing here at our barn project, and I lit that brush pile on fire on Friday, and
Still burning?
it's still burning.
Nice.
We had an inch and a half of rain over the weekend, probably. I wasn't expecting to see smoke still coming out of it this morning. But
Yeah.
As the fire department been down.
no, the wind was whipping enough Friday when I lit it. The smoke
Yeah.
never got high enough for anybody to see it.
So, speaking of the wind whipping, last night tornado sirens apparently went off, which we live in a valley, so my wife and I didn't hear them. You heard them.
Well, I live right beside the siren.
Yes, you live directly across the road. Dad, did you hear them?
I didn't hear nothing.
Okay.
Luckily, we didn't hear a freight train.
Yes, they also did not hear a tornado.
I was watching the news and they showed it. Looked like we was just far up south that we were.
Yeah, I know when I was looking at the warnings, the arrival list had the towns northeast of us.
Yeah, I saw a picture this morning on Facebook of a funnel cloud that WLWT posted. And I can't remember what town it was in. But
So my wife woke up or she got that alarm and heard the sirens, and she thought we lived by Wilmington.
Oh, gosh.
Where's she been all these
I don't
years?
know. I was like, Kayla, Wilmington's close to Cincinnati. Like, you go by it on the way to Cincinnati. She's like, there was a funnel cloud in Wilmington. Get in the basement.
She grew up like 5 miles from here. I would get it if she was like from out of state
I don't
or
know.
something. But
I don't know. She might have been tired, too. She did just wake up. But,
she's not a geography major.
no, I don't think so. Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny. By the time she got the kids all in the basement, the siren had went off. So
We're laughing and joking, but I mean, I suppose some of our viewers, listeners, that'd be serious if the tornado sirens went off for them.
yeah, I think there was some tornadoes in Indiana, wasn't there?
Oh, it's all Texas, all the way up through there. I mean, I don't know Indiana. I heard some in Arkansas. And
So some of these tornadoes actually lead into one of our topics for today. But actually, before we do that, we better get on to your segment from the old farm magazines.
Okay, this one's from
Story time with Pappy.
1916, the successful farming. I just went through and looked at. I thought it was kind of funny. Well, not funny. It's
Interesting.
interesting the old names that's in there that's going today, and I'll read off some. This is 1916 magazine. Goodyear, Firestone. That was two of the tires that's still going big today, and Daisy air rifles.
Got a couple of them at the house.
So
Yeah, go shoot your eye out. Good.
Bosch Magnetas, which is a Bosch company. I'm sure it's still going. New Idea. As far as the other major ones, John Deere, they weren't advertised in that magazine then.
John Deere didn't advertise in successful farming.
They weren't back in. I never seen any advertised for
That
them.
is kind of funny that that farming magazine had non-farming companies really being the
year
main
was that?
advertisers.
Uh,
1960.
I thought something was kind of funny.
John Deere's been around longer than that.
Did you know Hanes underwear was back in?
No, I didn't. I bet they looked a little different than they do now.
Well, it had a picture of the clothes, Hanes underwear, and everything.
What's an underwear model from 1960 look like?
I never noticed it, I guess. Looked at
You ever
there.
seen a swimsuit model from 1916?
Easton Kodak
With their bloomers going down to their ankles.
and Coca-Cola. And I think Pepsi, you said, was earlier than that, back in, but it wasn't advertised.
Pepsi was not earlier than Coke. But
Maytag, I've seen it in there. Wherever, aluminum.
so is it the same Maytag repairman? You think?
Yeah.
He's probably done just
Yep,
as much.
he's old.
Do you remember those commercials?
Yeah, he's old. PPG, plate glass, is in there. And that's some of the ones I've seen in the magazine, I'm sure. But they're all in business today, these names anyway. But there's a lot of others that just weren't advertised. But it's
I think next week you're going to have to read one of the articles and tell us how much different it is than like today's practices.
yeah, it's there's a lot of stuff.
Until Pepsi and Coca-Cola start paying the bills around here.
Yeah. I noticed there's a lot of egg advertising for eggs and chickens, so that was big back then.
Could be a lot of egg advertisements in modern times.
Well, I actually heard that egg prices were coming back down. Some of the stuff was starting to straighten back out. So
I wonder
the bird flu
how
or
much of that was price inflation was just the media
Probably, I don't know.
instilling panic.
well, when I think you were spreading or hauling over at Harnesses maybe or something. But when the Walinga guy was here, delivered the the hose, he was saying that in his part of Indiana is right beside several big lay-in operations. What he tells they killed 3 million birds.
There's a bunch of them.
Oh, I know that they were culling flocks because of bird flu, but doesn't that happen?
Yeah, he
Pretty
talked like it
regularly?
wasn't the first rodeo.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but he kind of led me to believe that if everything was fine at that particular point in time, it would take 3 to 4 months for production to ramp back up.
Yeah.
Just because of the life cycle of a chicken. So, I don't know. Hopefully, eggs come back down. So, I know all the local homesteaders around here have been pretty pleased to be able to sell their eggs for expensive prices. So.
all the people that spent $5,000 building a flock of chickens for themselves and then realized that they weren't saving any money.
Well, speaking of that, one of my high school buddies, he came over the other day looking for some lumber. I called him. I said, "How's Cluckingham Palace faring in this weather?" I noticed it wasn't quite done.
When are you getting chickens for the barn back here?
Kayla wants chickens. She wants to let them free range.
Oh, my gosh.
I was like, Kayla, they will be dead in like a week.
They'll end up in Wilmington.
Yeah, they'll end up in
Coyotes?
pieces in the yard.
Yeah.
I mean, that and when Diesel finds them, he'll eat them. He's got a proven track record.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm hoping to forego that. That, and if they free range, they're going to get up in the loft of that barn and shit on it and rust out the roof. I know that's what will happen.
Well, it might go over the neighbors too.
Yeah, the neighbors will love that.
Yeah, Kenworth trucks. Got chicken in it.
Yeah, we have a Kenworth storage facility beside the farm now, and well, never mind. I better quit. Anyways, today's topic. Well, like I said, those storms kind of led me into today's topic. Farmer Grace, who lives in western Kentucky, posted a picture of a solar farm that a tornado had went right through the middle of it and just done what you would think it would do to a solar farm.
What to do?
It just
tore all to pieces. Huh?
a big old swath right through the center of it. Yeah, just absolutely destroyed it. And that kind of led me to.
I'm sure the company rushed right out to do repair.
I'm sure. Yep.
Clean up and repair.
They're probably picking all the
priority.
pieces out of all the neighbors' yards and everything too. Yep. But
Probably wanted help from the government first to pay for it.
I don't think there's many parts of the country that have the solar operations like we seem to have here in the Eastern Corn Belt. I know talking with people at farm shows and stuff, whenever I complain and bitch about solar a little bit, they'll say, yeah, we got a 20-acre solar farm going in right up the road, and I just kind of chuckle. Because in our county, for the last, 5 years probably, they've probably been there about 5 years now,
It's a hard pry.
there's close to 5,000 acres in our county, and we're not even a big agricultural county compared to the rest of the state. So,
So 5,000 acres is a hell of a dent in
yes.
county production.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, if you notice in our videos, there's a lot of hills in the background, so therefore there's a lot less farm ground. Some of the flatter counties, there's even more. There was a farm, I'm trying to think, on the way to London where the guy committed suicide over it.
Yeah, that was county at Madison, maybe. I don't know. But next county up.
How many acres was that solar operation?
Oh, I don't know. 1,000 acres.
I'd say at least 800.
Yeah.
Well, in that particular circumstance, the farmer that was farming that ground, he did not own it. He had been farming it on a custom or a cash rent or sharecropped or something along those lines. The older gentleman that owned the farm passed away, and his wife put the entire operation into solar. The farmer that ended up taking his life, he had built a house on that farm, land that he owned. Solar panels went right around it, from my understanding. And he hated it so much he made that decision. So it's definitely a bigger topic in our state than most, and I don't think there's a lot of awareness about it. Starting to see some people, I guess, sharing pictures of it and stuff, like Grace sharing that picture and whatnot. I've been seeing that for the last couple of years, but I still don't think it's quite as known as some of the other hot topics in agriculture. And just for shits and gigs this morning, I decided to hop onto an AI platform and type in some solar topics, just because I have a feeling that the people that design the algorithms for those softwares probably have a different outlook on that kind of stuff than I do. And I wanted to see what would come up. Let me see if I can find it. Yes, here we go. So I typed in, when did solar panels start appearing in farmland? And the response I got was solar panels began appearing in farmland in the 1980s, but their widespread adoption took off in the 2000s. Farmers started using them primarily for powering equipment, irrigation systems.
We did.
And as a way to generate income through selling electricity back to the grid. The movement towards sustainable agriculture and renewable energy sources also contributed to the increase in installations on farms. By the 2010s, solar panels became more common on agricultural land as technology improved and cost decreased.
So from what I know of the solar industry, that entire article that you just read back that AI has generated is bullshit. Almost entirely bullshit.
Well, I think you got to look at it. So, like, when it says in the 1980s, I'm sure people were using them for stock tanks and that kind of stuff,
right.
electric fences.
Yeah.
But
the 2000s part where it's talking about farmers using that to generate income, they're not getting kickbacks. They're leasing that land, and
yes,
they're not.
The only way you're selling electricity back is if you have it on your house.
Yeah.
In the 80s, I don't remember any solar stuff.
It's probably small scale shit like he's talking about, like tank
Still,
farmers for livestock.
Electric stuff I never heard of back then.
Okay.
I'd say it was 90s for it.
Well, then I typed
we
in.
do live in the middle of nowhere.
Well,
So.
I kind of took that to believe that it wasn't commercial operations, that answer.
Yeah.
So I typed in, when did commercial solar companies begin leasing farmland in Ohio? Commercial solar companies began leasing farmland in Ohio around the early 2010s, which is kind of when I remember hearing talks about it.
Yeah.
The state has seen a gradual increase in solar energy development, particularly due to advances in technology and supportive state policies, which that pisses me off. By mid-2010s, leasing farmland to solar projects became more common as farmers sought additional revenue sources and investors, which is, in my opinion, the majority of these solar farms, looked for renewable energy opportunities. Never mind. They're talking about different investors. Initially focused on larger utility-scale projects, the trend has continued to grow with more farmers exploring solar leases as part of sustainable land practices.
Sustainable land practices.
Yeah. So, in my opinion, I don't know too many actual farmers that are putting their land into solar, but it seems like most of the time when you hear about it, it's an absentee landlord putting their land.
Investor.
Well,
Now, there are some, like I know a couple in the county that have done it.
I could see if Dad didn't have kids, what would he do with the farm?
I would about bet he would lease it to a young farmer.
Well,
I
I
would
would hope
hope
so,
so,
but
but
I could see where the decision would have to be made.
Yeah.
Yeah, these groups that buy this land and they're saying, $300 or $400 cash rent when you can get $1,000, now $1,500 an acre cash rent.
$2,000.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
So
a lot of
that's-
money. I mean,
but
like
still.
Dad's saying, some of these solar contracts are anywhere from $1,000 to $2,500 an acre per year. So it's extremely hard to compete for crops as far as with
But
that
now,
land.
now
But
we're
it also
hearing-
sounds like these contracts are fairly predatory as far as they're taking advantage of a
Well, I think it's like
base of
anything.
people that probably doesn't have a whole lot of legal knowledge and doesn't have access to an attorney like a lot of these solar companies do.
I think it's like anything. I mean, they're going to throw out a number that's going to be like shocking to you and hope you just sign, not realizing what all you're signing.
And now we're hearing some of them going belly up, and you're left with land, and it's just junk, and you can't do nothing with it.
Yeah, and I believe wholeheartedly that if you own the land, you should be able to do with it as you please. But to me, putting your land in solar would be like me taking this land and putting it into a subdivision. I mean, I could do that, and we could make a lot of money doing it probably, but it goes against what I believe fundamentally should happen to this land, and that's kind of how I look at like a farmer's decision to do that. What do you guys think when you hear about a farmer, like someone in production agriculture doing it?
Well, he's more likely.
Man, we don't know their
retire or
circumstances,
something.
but
yeah,
Like BJ said, nobody leave it to, maybe.
I couldn't do it.
every operation has their own story.
Yeah,
and,
everybody's different.
And I don't feel like I want to pass judgment on anybody that makes that decision, but at the same time, it does piss you off.
I couldn't do it. Like, I mean, for all the hate that farmers get,
I know that there's a lot of young guys that would love to have the opportunity. If it come down to I'm going to hang it up and lease it to solar,
I think that
because I feel like there's a lot of young guys that would love to have the opportunity to have that ground. Now they're obviously going to make more money up front with solar, but
Yeah, they pay big money, some of them, but
I mean, hell, we're not young guys, and we'd love to have some more ground.
yeah, but it's. I don't know. It's a different world than what it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Now it looks more crooked the other way.
What's wrong?
Falling over or what? Did you drink your V8 this morning?
I think my tripod's messed up.
One leg shorter than the other.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to judge someone because I don't know their circumstances, but I think for the most part, like I love this land too much to want to see it destroyed like that. Because I feel like once they put a large scale solar farm into that land, you still own it. They're leasing it for 30 years. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah. Some of them ain't hooked up yet. If they want to put them someplace, put them on these hills. They don't want to cut trees, though. Put them on these big warehouses, the roofs on the
My
warehouse.
question is, how many trees did you eat this week?
Yeah, Well, you got people getting.
And there's a large segment of the population that believes that it's okay. We'll just set up greenhouses and have these industrial warehouses growing food for us because that's cleaner.
Well,
somehow that is green.
Well, so my next question to this chatbot was, what are the benefits of leasing land to solar? And it gave me a list. Additional income, which there would be, like I say, a lot of income. Like if we put our whole operation in it, I mean, people want to talk about lazy grain farmers. I mean, I think solar farmers would be the laziest example because you don't do a damn thing, and you get a lot of money. There isn't money in it. Reduced land management costs, which I would assume the solar company is the one managing the actual leased acres. Diversification of income. I don't know how much diversification it would be because that's the only income you're going to get on that land.
What the taxes, if they raise the taxes on
I don't know. I wonder if they raise the county taxes because of the increased value.
I wonder if anybody else thinks about that kind of stuff.
Probably not. Environmental benefits. This is
yeah?
where this starts
Here we go.
starts to get me a little riled up. Solar farms promote renewable energy production, helping reduce the carbon footprint and contribute to cleaner environment, which is bullshit because corn crops sequester carbon. So I know there's carbon being produced whenever we are putting that corn crop out there, but you're taking this product that is sequestering carbon like a forest basically for all of summer, and you're putting black reflective panels out there that are just absorbing heat like a space shuttle tile. I don't know if that's...
Never mind the shit that they have to go through to make those panels.
Yeah. The environmental benefits, like this is where I feel like some hippie in some computer lab was just rolling out their what they think about it, and without a whole lot of research. Land preservation, which also really got me a little riled up.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, that's one of the
Land
lists.
preservation. Go up 104 and tell me any of that ground looks like it did 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Go up 159 and tell me any of that ground looks like it did 10 years ago.
Well, I'm sure.
What in the?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's going to come to halt now with Trump in there. I don't think it's going to be.
Well, the reasoning for land preservation, they can preserve agricultural land from development by providing an alternate use of the land. No, that is not ag land anymore. That is solar land.
That has become useless ground for agriculture.
So I know there's been a lot of questions about what happens with 30 years of rain running off those solar panels to the ground. Do those panels break down? I don't know.
I have heard a lot of areas that flood more now because that didn't flood before.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the long-term benefits of those panels being out there. There's a lot of speculation that's going to ruin the ground. We don't actually know. But you can't tell me something's not happening from that. But I don't know.
There's concrete footers underneath every one of those roads.
I think they have changed that. I think now it's just a long pylon that's drove into the ground.
Don't they have in them mercury, or is it mercury or something in them? It's
I don't know.
Something
that's why I hate to say that in an absolute.
Something in it that messes, sterilizes the ground.
Yeah. Well, that's what we think. We don't actually know that, but I haven't seen where there's been a whole lot of studies on the long term. Consequences of solar panels.
But then you go, I don't like them, but I like these little ones, like our Thunder Wagon out of the grain thing.
Yeah.
Or, it's got a little solar to charge the batteries. That's nice.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with solar panels when they're not in the middle of a field.
Yes.
I mean, I was up for putting them on this building when we built it. Because one thing I also dislike is the electric company. And I don't want to have the electric bill.
Don't say that. They might shut our electric off.
Yeah.
I think as long as you keep sending the checks, they'll keep it on.
I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm anti-solar in that I dislike them completely. I dislike the electric company probably more. I mean, not the people that work there. I know most of my friends are linemen, but the actual companies themselves kind of seem like snakes.
So what's some things out there in the shop?
Well, we do have some solar panels we're going to be installing on a building.
Hypocrite.
Like I said.
Sell out.
Yeah.
But they're going to be on the roof, not out in the field.
Correct. Tax benefits is another.
Are those to charge your Tesla?
No.
No? Okay.
I'd have a Tesla, but I'm afraid someone would burn it.
No shit.
That's, God.
I don't care what your beliefs are. Burning someone's private property. I despise these solar panels. I'm not going to go drive a bulldozer through that solar farm.
Well, before the election, all that stuff was the best thing you could do, buy an electric car.
Yeah, it's funny how their stance changed in about 8 months.
The ones that were in there are just completely opposite.
Yeah.
What's wrong with crazy people? I mean, it's just.
Anyways, one of the other benefits this chatbot said was tax benefits. Depending on local laws, there are many tax incentives for benefits associated with land leases. So that's, I'm assuming, helping you put them on your roof. Like I know there used to be like
you get like some kind of
30% tax credit or something like that. Improves soil health. In some cases, solar farms can help improve soil health by reduced soil erosion. Bullshit. What? And increasing biodiversity. I also call
how's that work? How's any of that work?
I don't know. The only thing I can think of is if they plant like wildflowers under those things or grasses.
I've seen.
Okay,
I don't
so
know.
you've got a large segment of they're getting these credits to put this solar crap out there because these widespread solar farms because it's good for the environment, saving and produce energy. You know what would be great for the environment? Give these guys tax credits to put a freaking forest out there if they're done farming. Pay them to plant trees. I'd rather look at a forest of pine trees than I would 50 acres of solar.
Yeah. Community benefits. Local communities benefit from job creation during installation, maintenance, and operation.
I don't think there's anybody I know of worked for them.
Well, Cousin Ben turned in a few bids, but
all out-towners.
Yeah. And then energy independence. So most of the solar farms that we know, they might be hooked up now. But like I said, I have a lot of friends that work for power companies, and to me, they all seem like a cash grab. They all seem like someone was scratching someone else's back, awarding a contract to a friend, someone in government, because the ones in Ross County were not hooked up to the grid. I don't know if they are now, but for a long time after they were
And it
complete.
doesn't come to us. It goes out of state.
Yeah, that part makes no sense to me. So then I typed in the disadvantages of solar, leasing your farmland to a solar company. And it's just so out of touch with the reality of the situation, in my opinion. Land use concerns, yes, that's definitely a disadvantage. I mean, that's something I would have a concern with. Long-term commitment, so 20 to 30 years is a long time. But initial investment, landowners may need to invest in site preparation. Man, I don't know how bad you got to be at reading a contract if you got to do the site prep for one of these solar farms. The aesthetic impact. They are ugly. They are god-awfully ugly.
There's my first spam call.
Do you have Medicare Part A?
Yeah. Jeez.
Whenever, so Dax got a phone.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
And
Did he get his first spam call?
no, we had him call Pappy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Well, first we said, hey, call Pappy. And he calls Jim, the other Pappy.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, Pap, do you have Medicaid? I was like, Dax, you can't call him Pap for this to work. So then he calls Dad and goes, I'm calling about your Medicaid party. I said Medicaid Part A, Medicaid party.
Yep.
Anyways.
Yeah, I was on Dozer or something. Couldn't hardly hear him.
Well, you said, you sound like spam calls. Like, yeah,
He called me and asked if my refrigerator was running, and I knew that it was either Dax or Emmy, but it took my mind a second to process it because I just climbed out of the spreader.
Yeah. Anyways, back to property value concerns, ecosystem disruption. So that's one of the things that they were just talking about was an advantage, and now it's a disadvantage. Maintenance responsibilities, limited revenue potential, dependence on a third party, and regulatory challenges. But not one disadvantage in there was the impact it's going to have on the local farm economy, local property taxes, or just the loss of those acres in food production. Like, no one's even thinking about that.
Yeah, I wonder about the property tax. I'll check into that. Because usually, like ours is, I think next year is new appraisal. So prices were up, so I don't know.
Well, it would have to affect it because when land values increase, property taxes increase. And if you have the opportunity to make $2,500 an acre on the land as an investment, it's going to drive up the price.
If it drives it up because of that, there's going to be a lot of hell.
Well, that's the problem with it, I think, is it's going to make it very difficult for a farmer to buy land because of these kind of things. Like commercial development's fine until you start seeing some of the
like I say, I think
effects no one talks about.
It's going to slow down. They ain't going to get any money from the government to do it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I kind of hope so.
but anyway, it's what it is.
Do you remember the first time you ever seen one of them?
Oh, I don't know. It's
Yeah, it was on a Casio calculator.
I mean, one of the
you
solar
mean the
farms.
solar farms? I don't know when they. You've seen the windmills, and you've seen a few back in what 2000, mid 2000s.
I remember everyone complained about the windmills, and my thought was the whole time after we started seeing the solar farms, at least you can farm around them. I mean, they're ugly, and they're kind of an eyesore.
I'd never seen a windmill until like 2015.
Okay.
I saw my first windmill on the way to Michigan, going through like Bowling Green, that area.
I remember we were leaving Farm Progress Show a few years ago, and we were driving up that road at night, and they were all in unison flashing.
Yeah,
that was kind of weird.
wild.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're.
Oh, I'm sure they got their place, but not on good farmland, I think.
Yeah, and in certain areas, there's been local ordinances been able to get them stopped. I know there's one large farm that was it 5,000-6,000 acres that was owned by an investment group. Oddly enough, Mr. Gates owns a large part of that investment group, and they were wanting to put that whole place into solar, weren't
They
they?
got it stopped.
There goes your social media.
Yeah, they got.
I don't know if he. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think they were able to get that stopped with local ordinances. I know there's been one in, I think, London that was stopped, one in Pickaway County that was stopped. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that, too, because, like I say, that is someone owning land and the government telling them what they can and can't do with their
You
land.
just sit right on the middle of the fence, don't you?
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I don't want to see solar farms, but I also believe you should be able to do what you want with your property. How do you feel about it? I mean, I feel like selfishly I want them to be stopped.
Yeah, I guess the same. I mean,
But I feel like
I
as a
never-
principal, you ought to be able to do what you want.
yeah.
Oh, I do back and look at the magazine a little closer to see if there's any solar panels back 2016 or 19.
They're probably talking about the invention of the light bulb.
Yeah, that's what it was. Well, it's how things change.
Yeah. Now, I mean, like I said, some of the residential solar stuff, I find that pretty interesting. And we are going to be doing a couple of videos with some solar stuff. And I don't know, the ability to not have an electric bill, I find to be pretty interesting and pretty neat in how it works, but much less intrusive and
I
invasive.
think you're going to be disappointed that we still have an electric bill.
Well, on that barn, I'm not, because there's no electric to it. So there will be no electric bill if there's a solar panel on it. I mean, I don't need quite the electric demands there.
Yeah, you're pretty light.
Yeah.
I mean, Pedro need electric.
I don't think old Pedro and Martin.
Martin.
Well, Martin.
I thought you said Maria in the video.
Well, I
You didn't
did.
tell everybody what it was.
Well, so that video was out of order. Last night's video shows the donkeys. Tonight's video shows us getting the donkeys.
It was out of order then.
Got a plot twist coming
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we thought we bought a male and a female miniature donkey. And I was back there at the barn the other day and sitting there petting the one and looked down and Maria had a pecker. So we got we got Pedro Martin now. I don't know what we're going to call Martin.
Dad, why does this donkey have 5 legs?
Yeah. I sent a picture to Kayla. I was like, hey, does that look like what I think it looked? Yeah. I was like, well, that's on the female.
Boy, can't
Put it
tell
on the
donkey.
wrong donkey.
Yeah. Yep. So, well, folks, if you have any other topics you want to hear us, I guess, ramble about, or if you have any opinions on the solar, or if you think we're stupid, whatever, go to the YouTube channel and drop them there. That is the only place where we can really get positive or negative feedback on this podcast. But the podcast will be available on all listening platforms as well as YouTube. So
Keeps raining. Maybe we'll have a live one or something.
yeah, Dad has voiced that he would like to do a live podcast. So
Anybody got any
That'd be
questions?
kinda fun.
Yeah, we got questions.
Set the
Somebody
iPad up and
what is next Sunday?
respond to people.
So
Well, we'd have to have a question reader.
Yeah.
So we might have to.
keep
Are you
raining.
insinuating that we can't read?
Well, I guess if we got 3 of us, you could read the
Yeah.
questions. I know when I do a live stream, trying to read and talk at the same time and carry on.
Which comes back to that TikTok you sent me last
So April the 6th, we will try to do a live podcast. I'm not sure on the time, but tune in to hear. I need to see how we go about. getting the sound out of here into a camera. I'm not sure how to do that.
Maybe.
Well, there's a Bluetooth. I think we can maybe use my phone to do the live stream. I don't know. We're going to have to do a trial run on that. So there might be a trial run sometime in the very near future. Well, that's so someone can call in.
Oh, what?
Yeah, you can do a call in.
Holy
Oh, my goodness. Big time.
So maybe that's how you do it. I don't know.
First time caller, long time listener. I'm going to hang up and let you talk.
Yeah. But anyways, we'll do a live stream podcast next week. So, yeah.
If it keeps raining with bad weather.
Hell, if it keeps raining, we may have to make a living doing this podcast.
Yeah. Sound like we're going to get supposedly 4 or 5 inches there Thursday, they say. I'll believe it when I see it.
I know
So I looked this morning. We are right at average rainfall for the first 3 months in Ross
hard
County.
to believe.
Right. Well, I think we've got most of it recently because my yard is sloppy.
Well, for average for the first year, but we was behind. But to get started out,
coming into the year we were in a deficit, but for 2025 we are right at the.
I know where I've been bulldozing. Boy, that hill's dry. Woo, it is dry.
Yeah. But anyways, folks, we will do a live podcast next Sunday. So, like I said, that is April the 6th. Be sure to tune in. I will try to keep you updated on time. We'll probably shoot for around noon, but that's going to depend entirely on everyone's baseball schedules and softball schedules.
Why don't we do it like 8:30 and just get the whole crew in here?
Well, that's the other problem. We always come up here in the mornings on Sunday, but so do all of our friends.
You never know who's going to show up.
Yeah, it's kind of. I enjoy having coffee time with the guys, but it kind of makes it hard to do a podcast with 15 people in the background.
It'd be fantastic.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of side conversations that the
People
viewers
would learn a
wouldn't
lot.
understand.
Do you think we ramble now, just the 3 of us? Wait till you get 10 of us in there.
You learn a lot.
Oh yeah. But thanks for tuning in, folks, and we will see you in the hear or listen to you. No, you'll see us in the next episode. There we go.
That came out smooth.
I forgot my vitamins.